we used to have then. And I'm having fun. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm having fun.
3 night stages transport the rally cars back to Durban for the overnight stop. The darkness of the cane fields at night is broken by a blaze of quartz halogen lights as the leading car blasts through one of the spectator points. The dust and darkness does little to ease the pace of the front-running competitors. Bar a few mishaps further down the field, the positions remain intact. Serge Damso extending an already commanding lead.
We've had a nice smooth run, hassles, and we're in about 1 minute and 59 seconds in the lead. And the car's going very well, so I'm quite happy about it.
So the scoreboard after 9 stages tells a tale of misery for the Nissan camp, while Toyota hold the top 3 places. Johan Evertser and Steve Harding keep Volkswagen's efforts alive ahead of the hard-working Sarel van der Merwe. 9 a.m. under blazing sunlight, the competitors line up at Kings Park Stadium for Special Stage 10, the first of the final day stages. Second on the road, Glenn Gibbons enters the stadium, giving the spectators a show of potent 4-wheel drive power. This young driver has a wealth of motocross experience and currently competes in Stanek Group N and Clubman's track racing. The lack of pressure from behind gives Glyn and Peter the chance to enjoy this exhibition stage. From the stadium in Durban, a long open section down the N2 takes cars as far as Scottsboro, where the stages lie inland from the coastline. 4 stages, 11, 12, 13 and 14 before the lunchtime regroup, and then 3 stages complete the event. The finish is back in Durban. There's no question that the Toyota is in command. Team orders, however, will not allow a heated challenge from Gibbons. But behind the leaders, a reduced field of 42 competitors are putting in an equal, if not greater effort. 8th overall and the leading privateer, Leon Buerter and Francois Jourdan, in their Class C Golf GTI. Hometown lads Chadwick and Constable coming to grips with the power of the 16-valve Golf. In stage 12, disaster strikes the leading Toyota as Damso spends 4 minutes stranded on the side of the road. Gibbons and Cuffley snatch the lead from their teammates, while Enzo Kuhn and Johan Seeling suddenly find themselves behind big brothers Damso and Bonafide, who marginally hold on to second place. Young Enzo's pace obviously quickens. Johan Evertser joins the rush, sensing a second place as they smell the Toyota's blood. Oblivious to the drama up front, Tony Ball and Tony Babb of Class D have Damso behind them on the road. Serge has used 10 minutes of allowed lateness to carry out repairs, but the engine is still misfiring. As they exit Special Stage 13, the motor splutters, and no amount of cranking will persuade the Conquest to start.
What seems to be problems, Serge?
I wish I knew.
As the service crew arrives, 190 kilowatts of engine power is reduced to mere people power as the Conquest is recovered from the stage. Bitter frustration and disappointment is reflected on Serge and Vito's faces as a faulty wiring connection is discovered. Out in the cane fields, the Works Volkswagen takes second place despite having no 5th gear. Damso, now back in business, gets his throttle foot ready for some heavy action. Damso's intentions become obvious as the Conquest starts Special Stage 14. After a comfortable overnight lead, Serge and Vito now lie 4th. They are 30 seconds on the scoreboard behind third-placed Kuhn and Seeling. Serge Damso is known for his ability to charge from the back of the field. The leading competitors are unaware at this stage of the times he's setting. The crowd is obviously enjoying the spectacle. Van der Walt and Van der Linde placed second in Class D behind Tony Ball and Tony Babb, who lead the class. Scott and Clifton, another privateer team, also working to keep their hard-earned 13th place. Still very much in the rally, despite stalling in front of the spectators here on stage 14, are Paolo Piazzamuzzo and Neil Watt in the newly built Uno Turbo. Teething problems have kept the service crew busy and the stage time slow. Glenn Gibbons has a 3-minute 21-second lead on Johan Evertser and navigator Steve Harding.
Steve Harding, you guys have now pulled yourselves up to second spot.
I think a little bit more by default than by skill. We've had a lot of difficulty. We think that we're getting the problem right. We've just replaced the gearbox. We've now got 5th gear again. We've had a niggling fault somewhere that's difficult to find. It's probably something very, very minor, but it's been with us since stage 4 yesterday and has made matters very difficult. We're having some difficulty in staying ahead of young Enzo Quinn, and he's been giving us a hard time. We're now 24 seconds ahead of him, and with 55 k's to go, it's going to be a very interesting battle. Serge will have to take just over a second a k off us. Obviously, if we haven't cured the miss, it will be impossible to stay ahead. It's going to be very hard work to stay ahead of Serge.
Enzo Kuhn's place loss to the Volkswagen was largely due to incredible tyre wear from the hectic pace up front. Having used all of their rubber, they've had to borrow from Toyota teammates. Gibbons and Cuffley have to keep their act together and not allow the fight for second place or the pace of Serge Damso to cause any unnecessary mistakes. With 3 stages remaining, Damso throws caution to the wind, causing navigator Vito Bonafide to sweat, not only from the heat. 5th place, Cyril van der Merwe and Frans Boshoff have been running consistently until a puncture on the 15th stage cost them time. A bent tyre rod has added to the already tiring job of keeping the Ford on the road. Enzo Kuhn and Johan Seeling have taken the fight for second place to heart, pushing the less powerful Class C Conquest to its absolute limit. Their new stock of Dunlop MSs knocking seconds off their times. But the fight is over in the 16th stage when we find Evertser and Harding's Golf sounding good, but going slow. Radio contact with the crew has confirmed that the gearbox is stuck in second, an unfortunate situation that loses Johan and Steve valuable hard-earned time. The disappointment shows. We've placed an in-car camera with Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington, the current Class B leaders in their Volkswagen dealer Team Golf. This highly talented driver-navigator pair have been successfully rallying together for nearly a decade. In the 80s, they formed part of the formidable Nissan Skyline squadron, driving a works car with tremendous effect. Teaching an old dog new tricks best describes Cassie's conversion from the powerful rear-wheel drive Nissan to the twitchy front-wheel drive Conquest he and Wiley so successfully drove in the Toyota dealer rally last year. Wiley Harrington has kept himself busy, navigating for many of the up-and-coming young drivers who depend on someone with experience on the maps. This experience, together with his likable personality, makes him a much sought-after member of any team. Together again, Cassie and Wiley show what an asset they are to the Volkswagen dealer team. Back to the leaders, with Glenn and Peter holding their pace, totally unaware that behind them, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide have, in the space of 2 stages, moved from 4th to 2nd place on the score sheets. Known for his ability to chase, Serge has gained almost a second a kilometre on the leaders. Having passed through the flying finish, the Gibbons-Cuffley Conquest safely approaches the final marshal point. A consistently fast pace has kept Glenn and Peter ahead of a talented field of drivers and navigators. Their four-wheel drive conquest never missing a beat through the event. Unable to fend off Damso's charge, a commendable effort nonetheless from the young but talented Enzo Kun and Johan Seeling. In a display of true grit, Serge and Vito's fight back to second place will be the talking point of the rally. As the marshals write up the times, Serge is 14 seconds faster than teammate Glenn Gibbons. It's been a long, hard day. Glenn Gibbons and Peter Cuffley receive the honoured custom of wreaths and champagne, indulging in the glory of their well-earned victory. It's Toyota 1, 2 and 3 at the end of the first round of the championship. Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington putting their Class B Golf 1 second ahead of Johan Evertser and Steve Harding to take 4th place and Class B honours. Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen finished 6th ahead of Ralph Chadwick and Mike Constable. 8th is the second husband and wife team of Skulk and Sue Berger, while Tony Ball and Tony Babb finished 9th overall and take Class D honours. 10th are privateers Coleman and Koch, while Sarel van der Merwe and Frans Boshoff are off the scoreboard in 11th place overall. The next round of the championship is the Volkswagen International Rally, which starts in George on the 12th of April. We'll be previewing this event in Top Sport on the TSS channel on Thursday the 11th, so make a note and join us then.